Hello. I have an orange spice tea today. Just grabbed it. I don't usually like orange, but we'll try it. I wanted to tell you today about the singer that I dated. He wasn't like a super famous singer, but he did like have that as his hobby. And his dad had been in some group. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was pretty big, at least locally. So we definitely connected over music, and I think our first date was even karaoke or something like that. This story is a little bit embarrassing personally for me because I did let my guard down on some things that I normally would not have accepted, but it's also not embarrassing, and I'm sharing it because I did so with full awareness that I was compromising my boundaries. And I did that while protecting my heart and protecting my emotions because I thought there might be a possibility that this would pan out well. And I also had the conscious thought that if it didn't pan out well, then I was still going to kind of have, a moment for myself, I guess, some time with someone. Because I was feeling pretty lonely and vulnerable at that point. I was about to go into my surgery to treat my cancer. And I was very clear on my dating profiles where I was at, and I did update that regularly as far as like where I was in my cancer journey and what I was doing. And then when I didn't have the capacity to date or I just wasn't well, I paused my account. So it's not like I was trying to trick somebody and get them stuck with sick cancer girl. No. Anyone who's been through cancer knows that there are highs and lows as part of that journey, and there are different things that you are capable of at the different highs and lows. So I was very open and honest about that. I knew going in, dating anybody during that time frame, it was kind of a 50-50 shot to see if I would meet a real connection or if I would just meet someone who was going to try to take advantage of my situation. And I mean, I think it's pretty normal to kind of want some extra comfort, some extra validation in that time of your life, especially when you're about to undergo a massive surgery. My surgery was like 14 hours long. It was the first real surgery I've ever had. Like, there were so many what ifs, like what do they find when they get in there? What if more things are needed? What's coming next? And kind of having that romantic relationship was a bit grounding and comforting. And so, honestly, I'm pretty sure he was using my situation to his advantage, but I was okay with that in that moment in time because I needed companionship and I needed someone to be worried about me and checking on me. And so I did lean into it. It was a fast and furious relationship. He made all these claims and we were connected on Facebook, and all these things did match up pretty well for the length of time that we were together. So it wasn't like immediate red flags, but even my nails, they change color. I don't know if you can see that, but they change color based on how you see it. It's so fun. Anyway, there wasn't like immediate red flags like this is a super bad guy, but as things progressed, there were a few, I guess, maybe yellow flags and warning signs that could have maybe been explained away, but could have also been red flags. It's hard to tell because by the end, it was clear that he wasn't actually interested in a relationship, and I'm not going to waste my energy trying to track down the whys. Like, if somebody wants to dissect a reason why something's not going to work, I'm totally open to that conversation, but I don't require it. I feel like not moving forward in a positive way is enough of a answer to know that it's not happening, right? So everything was going great. I went in for my surgery. He was telling me before my surgery that he was planning to come and visit me in the hospital and bring me food so that I didn't have to eat hospital food the whole time. And he had all this talk of like being a very supportive boyfriend while I was in the hospital. We had some very clear discussions about what my journey was going to look like physically, what things would be changing, and ongoing. And he was like on board with all of it and fully supportive, changing plans, leading up to surgery, so that he could spend time with me the night before and kind of help me, I guess, calm down or have something to distract myself, before I have to go home. And, you have to shower before you go to bed and shower when you wake up again, and all that stuff. And going into surgery, he's like texting, he's reaching out, he is initiating everything. And then it stopped. And I will never understand why anybody would do that. If I were in the flip side, I would first of all know my capacity for what I can handle. But second of all, I wouldn't make promises that I didn't plan on following through with. So I wouldn't be telling someone I'm showing up at the hospital with food if I didn't fully intend to do that. But then also, I wouldn't just halt everything the moment that, like, they're at their weakest. And I don't know, you could look into it as far as like psychological reasons. Maybe he was testing my capacity to see how much he could get away with. Maybe he's a flake. Maybe he was married. At one point, as it was kind of unraveling and I was like, okay, this is not going anywhere, a female with his last name tried to friend me on Facebook. And then when I went to go to his Facebook to see, because you can see relationship, connections, and I was like, well, maybe it's a sister, maybe it's a cousin, maybe she's just curious about this girl that he's dating. So I went to go to his Facebook to see if I could see the connection, and he had unfriended me. So at that point I was like, well, this guy's a jerk, definitely. Like, none of this can be explained in any reasonable capacity, and I'm gonna act on the assumption that that was his wife and he had gotten caught. And as terrible as I know that feels, from the other side of being cheated on, it's 100,000% the guy's fault for portraying himself as single and setting up the situation as if he were single, and then continuing to walk down that pathway as a single man. Had I known that he was married, obviously I wouldn't have even gone on a coffee date with him. Like that's totally irresponsible and disrespectful. And again, I'm just assuming, maybe I'm wrong, but at any rate, he made all these promises, didn't follow through. When I got home from the hospital, I checked in to see how he was doing. We made tentative plans to meet. Then he canceled the day of and said he couldn't make it. I asked him if he wanted to reschedule, because I was still kind of wondering if things had just gotten crazy for him and life was tough, right? So I was giving him a little bit of grace there, even though in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have bothered, because I was definitely in the vulnerable position at that point, and he should have been the one who was initiating. He didn't answer me as far as reconnecting, and then that's when I saw the strange Facebook message. He hadn't communicated to me, and then he had blocked me. So I'm assuming that he got found out and he was trying to hide his tracks. I didn't friend the girl. I was recovering from major surgery and literally found out that I had to undergo chemo because the cancer was more advanced than they thought it would be. And I was like reeling from this being like a couple of months to now taking an entire year of my life to fight. If she had sent me a message, I think I would have answered it and like helped her answer her questions. But there was no message from her. It was just a friend request. So I just ignored it. Yeah, I don't know if I did the right thing there as far as she's concerned. I know when I was in the other place, I would have liked to know, but I just really didn't have the capacity. So anyway, there was that. It was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I walked in with my eyes wide open, knowing that it could go one of two ways. And it's where I was at in the moment. I don't know if I would do it in the future that way again, but it did help me get ready for surgery and get to the place where I felt secure for that. So there's that.